Dean, thank you for joining me. A year ago today, we'd come off the back of a 4-0 win against Rochdale and increased the gap at the top of the National League to 9 points. We're now 9th in League Two after an impressive record-breaking return to the AFL and 3 points off the playoffs after a fantastic result against Accrington on Tuesday night. When you look back over the past 12 months, there's an overwhelming amount to be proud of, isn't there?
Yeah, I think as a football club, we've come a long way in a short space of time, and I'm a big believer. I always look back 12 months ago, where were we? And you've just given me all them details and highlights. And I think the biggest thing for us going forward, how do we continue to improve? And what we've done with sort of 12 games to go, and we're 9th in the division at the minute, we give ourselves a fighter's chance of the playoffs. And that's all I wanted us to do all season. So we've bounced back from some difficult games over the last few weeks in the sense of results, but we've really given ourselves a fighter's chance. So going into tomorrow, it's going to be a cracking game against Chesterfield.
13 players that were on the books last season are still here today, with many of them playing such a crucial role in last season's record-breaking campaign. How important was it to keep a core of that squad going into this season?
Well, a lot of them players are good enough. They're good enough to, I even think several of them are good enough to make the next step, the next jump. We've got a lot of good players. We've recruited really wisely and smartly, and we sign a lot of players that'll be low stock when they come to us, and people go, "Oh, what are they signing him for?" But we see different attributes in them, and the common attribute we look for all the time is honesty and hard work. Without that, you can't achieve anything. So that's the first thing we have to be able to tick as an individual player, and what we want to come into our camp. And I think Danny Collins and people like that, Nick Tavares, they epitomise what we're all about. Steady now coming back into the fold, he epitomises what we're all about as a football club. And when I first come here, sort of 4.5 years ago, and took charge of the team, I just wanted to get create an honest football club, because the football club was in disarray. It was cancerous, really. There was a dark cloud over it, and lots of mistakes were made at board level. That was the truth. And my job was to make sure I could get everybody singing from the same hymn sheet. And all supporters want to see, and I'm a supporter, by the way, so I supported Liverpool as a kid. Now I'm a Barnet supporter. All supporters want to see is honest, hard-working team, and I think we've managed to do that over the last few years. And now we've got a lot of credibility in the game. So, but I know this business, you just can't rest on your laurels. If you drop your guard, you'll be knocked out, and you'll be back down as quick as it takes to create it, which takes a long time. It's easy to destruct. So we've got to make sure that doesn't happen to us, and we stay humble in it and keep working hard, keep stepping forward.
Adapting to a new league is never going to be smooth sailing. So the players that are still with you, how do you feel that they've adapted to League Two football? Yeah, well, look, a lot of the players, the interest in January, the interest last summer from higher levels. So we've managed to keep hold of the majority of them. You look at Lee Unlove, he went to Notts County. They got the chequebook out to go get Lee. They didn't mess around. They met the valuation we had, and they paid the money. So, this time last year, a couple of months earlier, we sold Kabamba, for a lot of money as well. So we're not a football club that's engulfed in riches or anything like that. We understand the situation. We understand football's food chain. We get the business, so there's a business element to it as well. So, and I think bringing Cabby in to replace Lee, ideally we would like to keep both of them. We can't afford to do that. Bringing Cabby into place has been a good move from us. I think Cabby's got 6 goals in 9 games for us, so that's a fantastic return in this division. So there's loads of little things we're always looking at how we can get better and improve, but I think from our point of view, we understand the food chain of the business, we get it, and we're respectful of that, and I think a lot of our players understand that as well. A lot of players have signed new contracts, they've upgraded and made us better as the bar's gone higher, so there's loads of positives. As well as retaining the players that you did, you made 10 permanent signings in the summer and brought in a few loans. Talk to me about that experience of that transfer window, and what was the summer recruitment like from your perspective? Challenging,
extremely challenging. I have to say I'm actually shocked at the resources in this division, the amount of finances that players are very lucky these days, extremely lucky. It's obviously it starts in the Premier League, which is the biggest division in the world, or financially definitely the largest division in the world. And then if you look at the Championship, I think that's the 5th largest division in the world financially, and it's filtering down into League One and filtering down to League Two and even into the National League. So players are very lucky now if they get themselves off financially on the contract. And good luck to them. Good luck to anyone, even myself. Like when I signed a new contract, I'm very lucky to get the contract I got. So, and people can say you've earned it and stuff like that, but that's true. but I'm just shocked at the resources in the division. It's really it's taken me back, to be honest. So I didn't think we would. I thought with the resources we had, we'd be further up to Division 1. Not, and myself and the chairman and Natasha and that, we've had at Board Lab, we've had a lot of discussion about it, and the financial rules as well are obviously very stringent as well. So. But what we have got in place here, which is important, is a great infrastructure, our facilities, our training facilities, our stadium pitch. We're very lucky to have what we have. We have a lot of things that other clubs don't have. They might have more money, but we have a lot of things that other clubs don't have as well. So,
in football, you're always preparing in advance for any scenario. So I can imagine the process for the summer recruitment began, way in advance. From a coaching mindset, is it just sort of a 24/7 sort of, you're always looking at what players you can bring in and when?
No, I've 3 beliefs in the game. The first one, number one, if anyone wants to be a manager, you have to manage up, because owners, and they own the football club, so they'll make the decisions. So managing up's the key thing to do. And I say this to everybody, or any young manager and coach that wants to get into the game. Number 2 is recruitment. If you don't sign good players, you're not going to have a good team. So it's the key to the business. And if you don't do 1 and 2, you don't get to do 3, which is your philosophy and coach. A lot of people want to go in and say, I can coach, I can do this and I can do that. But if you don't manage up, I tell this story to everybody. I was 5-0 down at half-time at Dagenham at Barnet Football Club. 5-0 down at half-time to my old pal, Darryl McMahon, and I survived that by my relationship with the Cliantes family and the chairman in particular. So if I didn't build that rapport and that honest relationship with him, I would have been sacked after that game. And he stuck with me. We got to the summer, and I managed to build a group that summer to come 5th in the National League. So I try to explain that to people a lot. So for me, recruitment's the key to the business. Did we get all our first targets last summer? No, nowhere near it. I have, like I say, going back to the resources, I was a little bit taken back at what it took to sort of get them players. But that's, I wouldn't say it's a mistake. We've learned from that, and we know what we need to do come the next transfer window.
We opened the season with 3 defeats, which was, of course, tough to take after the highs of the previous months. Since then, we've won 13, drawn 11 and lost another 7. When you look at August and look at now, how do you see the progression that's been made on the pitch?
Yeah, huge progression, yeah. Huge. A lot of teams, I spoke about this in summer, a lot of teams are happy without the ball in this division. The physicality, the resources of it, the coaching, the managers, the players, it's a stronger division than the National League. And I know the National League really well. I managed it for 5 or 6 years. It's a stronger division. Both boxes is obviously key within this division as well in League 2. So it's just food chain. It's just how, obviously we come in with a lot of possession, playing an overload game, but then we didn't do well enough, especially after the first 3 games in both boxes. I think we let in 6 and scored 1. So we sort of a little bit taken back, and we had to change our tact, change our style. But I call that good management. I didn't just then stick to, this is my philosophy. I stuck to how we can win a football match. So we played direct, we played different, and no doubt tomorrow we can play different, because we played last week, we played overload, and sometimes we can play direct. And for me, that's good management. That's good coaching. That's all the coaching staff that are on the part. And it's a credit to the players that they have the capabilities of changing tact in game or changing our style of play. So you have different horses for different courses.
It's not just the players that have had to adapt to a new league, it's yourself and the coaching staff. So from your point of view, what have been the biggest differences that you've noticed from the National League to League 2 from a coaching point of view? You'll
just get punished more when you're making mistakes. It's simple. And it'll be the same for a League 2 side if they go up into League 1. It'll be the same for a League 1 side when they go up into the Championship. And the same for the Championship teams. They get promoted to the Premier League. It's Haaland on the end of the chances, so it's in your net. So, and they mightn't even have a chance at that level. So it's just food chain in the business. And what we have done really well, we've stuck to our main principles is to run hard and tackle the opposition. And we've always done that. And like I say, we give ourselves a fighter's chance going into the last 12 games. And that's all we can ask for. I think if you look at Bromley, I know we're on about Barnet today, but Bromley are a real hard-running athletic side, and they've been out in front for a while. With a lot of lads that have played in the National League, a lot of lads that come from the National League. So it just shows you, I watched Luton Town get promoted to the Premier League, but with an athletic running style team, play forward, run forward. So running's the key to the business these days. That's what's changed within it over, rather than it used to be more technical. You see in the Premier League now, there's long throws going into the box, and that would have been course that under Sam Allardyce. That would have been, what's he doing throwing it, or Tony Pulis. But now you've got foreign coaches doing what they used to do. So it's crazy.
Our away form has been superb this season, and we went on an unbeaten run of 8 games from late August to November. There are many factors that could obviously contribute to that, but what are those factors that you feel have contributed to our success on the road this season?
I think teams coming out at us so we can expose them in behind with our athleticism and their pace. A lot of teams come to the Hive and just sit in. You see it with Cheltenham a few weeks ago. You've seen it with Crewe, who sat in a lot, especially second half. I think that's been, we haven't been able to open the door well enough. I do a lot of interviews with after the game, well, after every game. And I say that next bit, that final action, but that's where the money is, that's where the real quality is. And if Idris and players like Idris and players like Ryan, if they can score goals at this level, you know, they'll earn a lot of money out of the game. They'll go up the food chain. And I know we have the capabilities of doing it, and I get it. You know, we have to keep growing, we're trying to improve. The main thing for us is we always walk on our game. Every day we walk on our game, we go to the line. That just gives you a chance in life. So I think that's the big difference in the division, it's just both boxes.
A January transfer window is always looked at differently to a summer transfer window, with teams looking to strengthen in areas that they feel that they can push on until the end of the season. How was it managing like fans' expectations, but also your own expectations when bringing in players and letting some go in January?
Yeah, the reality is those players are always going to fall. They come when the bar's getting raised, they don't come with it, and you're always trying to upgrade. But sometimes you have what you need inside your own house, in your own back garden. So we've like, if you look at the lads that come in the other day, they've come in through injury. They come in off a reset last Sunday, but they've kept working hard and training. I've been impressed the last 2-3 weeks, especially with Critchlow and people like that. They've got the capabilities. It's up to them now to keep to their standards and keep the standards here and work day in, day out. Keep to what I want them to adhere to. We can't drop our standards now because we won't get a second opportunity from now on in. But you know, the January window is always tricky. It's tricky all the time. It's frustrating. It's especially on deadline day when you got a lot of teams after your players. And to be fair, the one thing with my chairman, he won't do anything on the cheap. You know, he'll always do what's best for Barnet Football Club. His heart and soul is at the football club, and I thought he was very brave in that window. Extremely brave, and people won't know this on the outside, but to knock back the offers he did, to give us a fighter's chance to try get into the playoffs was admirable, to be totally honest with you.
You said after Tuesday night's game that every game now is a cup final. How important is it to have that mindset with how open the division still is, but on the other hand, to sort of manage the expectations of the players, the club and the fans going into the business end?
We're just one game at a time, one day at a time, one session at a time. We just trained really well there. We great preparation the other day where we stayed up after the game, which is something we haven't done often. That's the second time we've ever done that. We did it against Bristol Rovers and come back here against Crawley. So I want to thank the chairman for that, you know, because sometimes he thinks that they ain't the right things to do, but we know that's the right thing to do. It's the way players are prepared these days. So to walk on Wednesday morning in the pool and in the gym up in Oystead and Preston was vital for us, and travel down then when there's no traffic and everyone get home and keep your routine and sleep was vital. So, and the lads had, apart from the injured players, they had Thursday off, a little bit of rest. So in today, and training was bright today, it was breezy. We want to keep the confidence in the camp, but we're under no illusions how tough every game is going to be. You know, people just think we should just come here and beat Cheltenham and just, you know, push them aside. You don't. I think Salford are a great example. They've just played a lot of the teams who are in the bottom half of the table and haven't won. I think they've lost 4 on the bounce, haven't they? So it just shows you, if you drop your guard in this business, you're getting knocked out. So to be fair to Salford, they're in a strong position. We got them next week as well, but we're in a strong position as well. Like I say, exciting games. How exciting is tomorrow's game? Oh, I'm buzzing for the game. I can't wait. Ourselves in Chesterfield always have cracker of a game. I think I've only beat Cookie's teams once. We beat them 3-0 here with Kabamba hat-trick. But the last 3 times we played, they've beat us. So, you know, we're going to need everybody to get right behind the team because they're an exceptional team. They've got a lot of talent, obviously, fantastic management team. So, but it's exciting. You know, imagine going into this after probably losing 3 on the bounce and they're 6 points ahead of you and you've no real chance of getting in the playoffs. So, we're giving ourselves a fighter's chance, and we've got to fight and scrap, and we've got to, you know, we need our supporters to get behind every tackle we make, every cross we make, every entry we make. We need them to really push us forward in a positive way, which I know they will do.
As we've moved up a level, a lot's changed, but I suppose nothing more so than the finances. You always talk about working within our means and realising where we are as a club. What's the reality actually like, and how can a club like ours keep up with the other teams' ever-rising budgets, particularly when you look across the league and realise that we're competing with 8 or 9 clubs with budgets twice the size of ours?
Yeah, look, the resources are large within the division. But what I'd say from our point of view, which is you, anyone that comes here and spends any money within the Hive, that goes back into the budget. That has to go back into the budget. That's what happens. So if you're gonna go have a drink somewhere else or have something to eat somewhere else on a match day, you know, I'd ask you to come have it here. You know, because that can go naturally back into our budget. Any player sales goes back into the budget. Gate receipts go back into the budget. If we want money off the client's family, only 50% of that can go back into the budget. 50% has to go to the structure of the football club. So when we actually start learning about all this, which by the way we all have, that's the chairman, myself, Natasha, when we all looked at it, we didn't realise that all this is what's needed. When Barnet were last in, when we were last in the AFL, which was 7 or 8 years ago, the changes have been vast. So we're in the financial structures and the fair play and so and so and so and so. So we have to understand that every penny we spend on match day goes back into the team and into the budget. So the more we spend here, the more time we spend here together. We're in our home. We've got a great facility. I hear the food's got better, which is good. I hear the beer's got better, which is good as well. So, and the supporters know that we've got an open door policy. They can come and get around the players. They can come see myself, pop in, say hello. So they know that. They've known that since I've been here. So we want to keep that togetherness, and I think if they can help as well, every penny will help, especially when things are as tight as they are for us.
You're obviously in the middle of your touchline ban at the minute. How do you think that's been affecting the way we play and the results in the last few games at all?
I think it has affected, you know, because I'm quite vocal on the side and I coach the team on the side. I suppose I commentate from the side and try to help them all the time, and you know, I think I'm quite authoritative really with the players and how we want to play, especially with a high press. But it's been challenging. You know, I've been given a severe ban really, in my opinion. You know, I didn't even think I should have been given a ban, and I fought that. When my barrister and the LMA were amazing with me. Craig Harris was amazing, and Lindsay Gordon, they were unbelievable with me, and the support I've had from my family. Because when you think that you haven't done anything wrong, which I still don't believe I have. And the word alleged is always used by the FA within their statements. It's still alleged. I just don't believe I did anything wrong. So it is what it is. It's been frustrating. It's been hard not to be on the touchline. But I've left it down to Conor. Great learning from Conor and learning from myself, because I sit upstairs now and I see, can Conor now manage? Because he will be a football manager. And Conor and I spoke about this when he first come in. He wants to be a football manager, and I want to help him develop in his pathway in coaching, and so does Jerome. So for both of them to go, I think they managed against Steve Cotterill on the side, and they managed against Ian Holloway. They've just gone up against John Doolan. So I think of the managers, the Cowley brothers, they've just managed against vast experience there, especially with Steve Cotterill and Ian Holloway. What experience that is for them. Like Conor's 33 and I think Jerome's 35, 36, so great experience for them lads. And I think it's the other thing, not just with players, I think we've brought good people. Craig Holloway's doing an amazing job. Hutch does a great job in recruitment. Obviously Cork, everyone knows what Cork's like. So when you actually look at the staff and what we've got and the freedom they have to act like the manager, I think that's important as well, because that creates that environment where it's not a dictatorship. So, and I think Conor did great the other night. I asked him to stand up and I asked him to sort of be me a little bit and coach the game through, and I think he did better with that the other night, much more impressive than he did in the other games. So great learning for him.
How much do you believe your previous coaching roles and also your playing days have helped shape you into the person, but also the coach that people see on the touchline you are today? Yeah,
huge amount. Yeah, my heritage first and foremost. You know, what represent my heritage and my family name, and how difficult my childhood was, which was a very challenging childhood. But that moulded me into the, like, I didn't know we were poor when we were a kid or anything like that, you know what I mean? We didn't have any money, we didn't have anything. I grew up in the Liberties in inner city Dublin. When I grew up, there was a heroin epidemic in my area, which there was no jobs. So Dublin wasn't as vibrant as it is now, and you know, it wouldn't have been a tourist attraction back then, and you probably wouldn't be able to walk through my streets back then if you didn't know I had family in that area. So I'm very blessed to have that upbringing. And then when I come into football, Ricky Hill brought me to England. Without Ricky Hill, I'd never ever be in England. I could be doing all sorts. God knows what I'd be doing. So, and he's the greatest coach I've ever seen. Amazing coach. Amazing football brain. His communication, how he made you feel as a player, how he made you a better player. So he's the best coach, and he's a sin that he's not working as a football coach. And I think Ricky's in his mid-60s now. Hope I ain't done him any injustice there. But then you come across so many different people, loads of different managers that you get little things off. You come across people where you won't want to do it anyway the way they do it. But you want to be yourself. I think that's vital. You have to be yourself in life. And if you can't be yourself, you're better off just not doing it. And I think that's vital, and that's how you express yourself. And I love football. I owe football everything. I owe absolutely everything. It's given me everything I have in England. From a little tinker out of Dublin coming over to England, it's given me everything I have, and I'm blessed. I've got a great family, great friends, and obviously I love working at Barnet Football Club. Everyone knows the loyalty I've showed to the football club in the last couple of years, so long may that continue, and hopefully we can bring more success.
In football, you're always looking ahead, so I'm sure you're well in the midst of preparations for the summer and looking at the best ways that you can further improve this Bede side for the 26-27 campaign with the budget we have.
Yeah, well, listen, we'll talk about budgets in the summer with the chairman. I think we've got to just focus on, really the season's broke down into two areas, isn't it? You've got the summer window now, you've got the January window. And I suppose you're always building one team for one season. That's how I look at it. I don't look at building for next year just yet. Because of the transfer window, we've just started to look at next year now. But usually, because I never worked in transfer window before, because I was managing the National League, usually I would have started that process 6 months earlier. So we've just started over the last few weeks to start looking at next year. But I think we don't want to look too far ahead. We've got to make sure we stay focused on what is a great opportunity for us. I think have we got 5 games away? Is that right? And 7 at home, or maybe 8 away? I think 4 away. I think it's 4 away and 8 at home. It's quite. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I know we've got more home games. So it's just exciting. It's exciting. You've asked some of the teams near the bottom, Crawley, Bristol Rovers, but they want to swap with us all day long. So we give ourselves a chance. We have to grab that chance. When you get an opportunity of sort of creating some kind of success, you have to grab it with both hands and not let it go. And we all know the rewards with that. If you look at the players from last season, the rewards they've had, and some of the players would be interested in them this year by winning and being at the top. Like, scouts don't come to the games at the bottom of the table. They go to the teams at the top of the table. So we all know how it works, and it's extremely exciting.
And finally, the fans have stuck with the club through many highs, many lows. It's, of course, what football's all about, really. You've been involved with the club now coming up to 5 years in June. Can you just put into words how much the fans mean to this club, whether it's thousands of them travelling away to away games or just backing the lads at home?
Well, I always say they're just as important as me. They're the most important people at the football club, and we try to treat everybody the same. So whether it's me, the manager, or a kit man, or whether it's yourself, you're just as important, because we all representing this badge. So we're all as important as each other, and they're the same. They've been unbelievable with me since I've come here. And I told them from day one we'd give them an honest team, and we'll always be honest. And the day the team stops running is for them and for me is the day I walk away. So that's how it works. If you can't get players to run for you, you'll get fired, or you walk away, which I would personally walk away rather than get fired. Because that's the truth, that's how it works. You've got to get something out of the players. Once the players keep running for them, they'll keep getting behind them, and they've been unbelievable with me. And even through the tough time where I've had a real extreme tough time, because I feel like, I'm really frustrated at what happened to me. I don't think that was right. And I'm serving a ban which and they've been brilliant behind that, behind people coming to see me and giving, we know you're not like that, and so on and so on. But it was so hard not to speak about it because I wasn't allowed for legal reasons. But now everyone can read the transcript themselves and see exactly what's gone on. But for their supporters, the support I've had off them has been incredible, absolutely incredible.
Thank you very much for your time, Dean.
Cheers, thanks a million.